What's going on, 12s? Take a breath, because what's happening inside the Seahawks right now isn't just locker room buzz or routine roster moves. It's the kind of shift that changes the direction of a season, messes with the play style, and transforms the vibe inside the building. It's the type of moment that, when we look back at the end of the year, we'll call the turning point. Over the past few weeks, an offensive player who looked forgotten suddenly flipped the switch and might force Seattle to rethink everything. At the same time, a defense that has been limping through injuries right down the middle could be close to getting its heart back just when every game starts to feel like playoff football. And on top of that, there's a surprise reunion with someone who became a fan favorite here, and he's about to put the blue and green on again. Today, I want to break down what's behind these decisions, what's being tweaked inside the building, and how it could change everything we expect from this final stretch. And that's not hype. Details that look small from the outside can change everything inside the huddle and in the locker room. So show you're part of the 12s, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because what's being put together behind the scenes only makes sense to those who are really paying attention. Let's start with where the vibe flipped the hardest, the offense. These past weeks, Seattle's been living almost entirely off the arm of its quarterback. It was an offense that shined through the air, looked fun and explosive, but also leaned way too much on it. It worked early, but it started to crack recently with risky throws, unnecessary interceptions, and an obvious dip in the passing groove. When that happens, it's not just about numbers. It hits confidence. It messes with the play calling. It changes how the defense reads you. A predictable offense is a fragile offense. And when the pass stops being your safety net, something needs to change. That's when Seattle turned back to a guy who didn't lose touches because of talent, but because of strategy. A guy with burst, with big play juice, but who wasn't being used the right way. And then suddenly everything changed. Kenneth Walker came back. And not just showed up, he came back with attitude, with impact, with the type of presence that forces a coach to rethink the plan. After quiet weeks, the running back started dominating again, putting together back-to-back games with over 100 scrimmage yards. That forced Seattle to face a serious question: does this team need to shift the plan and make the run game the focal point again? Mike Macdonald had hinted at it before the Titans game. He said Walker was earning more opportunities, deserved more touches, and that the team had to take better advantage of his explosiveness. That wasn't coach speak. That was a warning of strategic change coming. And against Tennessee, the change was loud. Walker had 71 rushing yards and another 30 through the air, finishing with 101 total yards. A week earlier against the Rams, it was 111. He doesn't even need to run for 100 pure rushing yards to dominate, because Seattle isn't looking for empty volume, it's looking for impact. When he has the ball, something happens. And that's what changes how defenses play you. Runs of 19, 11, and 15 yards shifted entire drives. Even though Zach Charbonnet scored the touchdown on that sequence, it was Walker who broke Tennessee's defense and threw them off rhythm. McDonald summed it up with one short sentence after the game: "I felt Ken today." When a coach says that, he's not just talking numbers. He's talking presence. He's talking about a player who lifts the whole offense, who forces the opposing coordinator to adjust mid-drive. Charbonnet played well, scored the TD, but Walker opened the lane. The question now isn't why did he start playing well again? It's why did it take so long to feature him like this? And here's what people forget. When the passing game looked unstoppable, Seattle didn't feel the need to run. It felt natural to lean away from it. But the NFL is a league of study, adaptation, and timing. When Darnold lost that margin of safety, balancing the offense stopped being optional and became mandatory. Seattle rediscovered something that was right in front of them. Now they need to keep it there. And while the offense figures itself out, the defense is close to getting back what it lost, its heartbeat. Seattle had to face Tennessee with almost no depth at linebacker. Patrick O'Connell, up from the practice squad, had to take real snaps. Drake Thomas had to hold everything together too. And that patchwork only held up because Seattle controlled the clock and kept the Titans from building volume. Anyone who understands defense knows this. If you're improvising at linebacker, you're living on the edge. Now, heading into the matchup against the Minnesota Vikings, the best possible news surfaces, Ernest Jones and Tyrese Knight might be back. McDonald kept it clear, hopeful for both. Knight should return to practice after concussion protocol. Jones still needs monitoring with his knee, but there's a real chance. And if there's a chance, it already changes everything. Jones wears the green dot. He's the mind of the defense. He runs the whole unit. Knight brings pure speed, aggression, and pursuit and is one of the team's top tacklers. Having Jones on the field against a Vikings team that might be led by a backup quarterback, with J.J. McCarthy still in concussion protocol, could be the difference between winning and surviving. Picture it, a weakened offense trying to move the ball against a defense getting its brain and motor back, in a packed Lumen field with the 12s roaring. That's not just tactical advantage. That's emotional leverage. And if you're here for real analysis, not just headlines thrown around, drop that like because there's still one heavy story left. This last one hits the heart of the fan base. A name that became a symbol here, lived his peak here, is coming home. Quandre Diggs is back with the Seahawks. He's not coming back as a starter or for immediate solutions, but he's back in the blue and green on the practice squad in one of the most symbolic moves this team has made in a while. Diggs was released by the Titans, asked out and chose to return to Seattle. The news came shortly after reporter Brady Henderson broke the story. 4.5 years in Seattle, 3 Pro Bowls, leadership, production, and a massive bond with the city and the fan base. And this isn't about nostalgia. It makes football sense. Julian Love might not be ready yet. Ty Okada left injured against Tennessee and the group is thin. Even if Diggs doesn't play right away, having a veteran who knows the culture, understands the system and can step in immediately if things get tight brings security. And more than that, it boosts morale. Some players help through tackles. Some help through leadership. Diggs brings both. Seattle gives him a chance to finish his career where he helped build one of the NFL's most respected post-LOB secondaries. So in the end, Seattle finds identity on offense with Walker, regains defensive balance with Jones and Knight, and strengthens its locker room spirit with the return of a leader in the secondary. Strategy, health, and emotion, all changing at once. Now I want to hear from you 12s. Do you believe Walker is the key for this offense to take control again? And about Diggs, is this real impact or just a symbolic return to the practice squad? Drop your thoughts, because I genuinely want to know what you think. And don't forget, 12s! Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this with that friend who's always riding with the Seahawks. Thanks for being here, you make this channel happen. Let's keep it going together, showing the power of the 12s. Go Hawks!